DreAllDay.com.
Before we start, please like and comment on this video so I can get your feedback. Also, click that subscribe button so you can get all the new content I'm dropping on this channel. And the free book, the mental handbook, physical book, Work on Your Game University, just take care of the shipping and handling, send this right to your doorstep. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This video that we're talking about here, talking about never wasting your pain. The reason I'm talking about this topic is because obviously I know a lot of you are athletes. A lot of you play ball. If you're in a scholastic basketball player, even those of you who want to get into the pros, maybe you're already in the pros trying to get your career started or continuing, you're going to face a lot of setbacks. Basketball is a very crowded sport. A lot of people want to play. It's easy for anybody to get in. It's also easy for anyone to get out. There's a limited number of spots on every team. You're going to face some setbacks and you're going to feel some pain in basketball. I've been through it myself. You know my story. If you watch a lot of my vids, then you know about this. If you read my books, you know about these. I'll tell you about a couple of my setbacks, but again, the reason I'm making this video is because I know you're going to face setbacks. I know you're going to have plans and goals that do not come through, goals that you do not reach. There's going to be times where you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I going to do with this pain? I'm feeling the pain of getting cut from the team, the pain of my friends teasing me, the pain of nobody believing in me, the pain of just knowing that you had a goal that you did not reach. It doesn't even matter if anybody else even knew about the goal. You knew about it and you didn't reach that goal. How can you use that pain? This video is about never wasting that pain and actually using that for your own positive purposes, for your constructive purposes. The first thing you have to understand is that pain is energy. Pain is a very strong energy, and you know that. You compare that to all the other emotions you feel, positive, negative, neutral. Pain is a very strong energy. Most people, though, because of the negative energy, they don't even notice the power that pain has in it. Understand that energy is something that is neither created nor destroyed. It's merely passed from one object to another. So you can take the pain, the energy of that pain, and use it to do anything that you want to do with it. I'm going to tell you a couple situations from my life. First one was when I was in high school. If you read my first book, it's called Buy a Game. It's free. It's my early basketball story. The link is down there in the video description. I got cut from the basketball team freshman, sophomore, and junior years. And the junior year was the worst tryout of all three. I actually played worse that year than I did the first 2 years, really, relatively speaking. And I got another guy who I was guarding. He scored all these points against me. Read my first book, Buy a Game, and you'll learn this story. And that was a time when I had a lot of pain because I was embarrassed. A lot of people were talking about it. Everybody saw it. Everybody knew it. And I was a junior. And by your junior year, if you're going to do something as a basketball player, usually by your junior year, you at least make the team. You don't even have to be an all-star, but you could at least make the team. I didn't even make the team my junior year. So I had to face that. Then get in college. Junior year again, I got kicked off the basketball team as a junior in college by a new coach who came in, different from the coach who had recruited me to my school. And again, this is also in my book, Buy a Game. And at that time, I'm looking around at the guys who were on the team while I got kicked off. I'm like, man, I'm better than all of these dudes. But they're on the team right now, and I'm not on the team. I had to somehow figure out a way to prove that I was better than them, but I still had to wait another year and a half before I would even get a chance to prove it. So the pain of having to sit there and watch these dudes play. My senior year, I sat and watched them play. You saw the video where I talked about that senior year. I'm watching these guys play. I'm like, I'm better than all these dudes, but I couldn't even prove it. I had no opportunity to prove it. I had to wait 2 whole years to prove that I was better than those people. I had to learn to channel that energy into something constructive so I could be ready when my opportunity came. Another one is when I got out of college. I was talking to my parents. I said, hey, I want to try to be a professional basketball player. Now, mind you, I barely made the team in high school. I didn't start playing until late. Barely made the team in high school and didn't play when I did make it. Played in college, but then didn't play my last year and a half of college. So my parents are looking at me in a logical way. They're like, how are you going to be a basketball player? They didn't say this, but they're thinking, how are you going to be a basketball player? You barely played in high school. You didn't even finish playing in college at a Division III school at that. How are you going to be a professional basketball player? It didn't add up. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. It was completely irrational, unreasonable, made no sense. Nobody who had could put 2 and 2 together logically would see that making any sense. So I see why they saw it that way. And the pain of them not believing, the pain of them saying that doesn't make any sense. You know, you need to go get a job, you got a degree, you know, get a car, get an apartment, live happily ever after. I had to deal with that pain. I had to channel that energy into something different. So what I'm going to give you here today, I'm going to give you 3 points that you're going to use to learn to channel your energy into something other than just the negativity, just the pain that you're feeling. Channel it into something that you can actually use for constructive purposes. Is that something that all of you think you can get some benefit from? I know the answer is yes. So first of all is this. Jay-Z has a line in his song. I believe the song is Dead Presidents. It's Dead Presidents, where he says, he was talking about one of his friends who had got shot. And he went and saw his friend in the hospital, and he said to his friend, listen, you still alive, just dream about the get back. Dream about the get back. So when you face that setback, all you need to think about is the get back, the comeback, whatever you want to call it, the redemption. When you're going to come back here and prove to everybody who's laughing at you, everybody who's just indifferent to you, everybody who's not supporting you, you're going to prove that they should have paid attention to you from the beginning. I remember Kobe Bryant, when he was a rookie in the NBA, 1997 NBA playoffs, the Lakers were playing against the Utah Jazz. It was the end of the game in the fourth quarter. Phil Jackson puts Kobe Bryant in the game. Actually, it wasn't Phil Jackson yet. It was, I forget who was the coach, Kobe's rookie year. But anyway, the coach puts Kobe Bryant in the game because they needed someone to score some points. And for whatever reason, they weren't giving the ball to Shaq because Shaq was a bad foul shooter. So Kobe ends up in the fourth quarter of this game. This is the game that ended up Utah eliminated the Lakers from the playoffs with this loss because the Lakers lost the game. Kobe Bryant shot 3 air balls down the stretch of that game. 3 times he tried to make a play to try to help the Lakers. 3 times he shot air balls. And at the end of that game, I remember reading in Shaquille O'Neal's book, Shaq said, I pulled Kobe aside when we were walking off the court after we got eliminated and Kobe shot 3 air balls. I pulled him off to the side and I said, Kobe, listen, I want you to remember all these fans in here who are screaming at you right now, everybody in here who's laughing at you, and every time you come back in this building, this was the Delta Center in Utah. I know they don't still call it the Delta Center. I don't know if it's the same building even, but anyway, he said, every time you come back to Utah, play against this team, you remember this feeling that you're feeling right now. Think about that get back that you're gonna get. And if you watch the rest of Kobe's career, even if you didn't know that story, you know, Kobe always brought it when he played against the Utah Jazz. He always brought it. I remember the next year, actually, they were playing in Utah, the Lakers, and Kobe got the ball like it was a scrum and a loose ball came. Kobe caught it at the foul line. He took like one dribble, drop step, and he did like a windmill dunk. And then he looked at the crowd and flexed. And if you look this up on YouTube, you probably find this video of him doing that. That was like the next year or the year after that, he did that. And I remember thinking, like, Kobe's always going to bring when he plays Utah. And he always did through the rest of his career. So the first point is whenever you face that setback, dream about how it's going to feel when you're getting your revenge. When you finally get your redemption and everybody notices, oh yeah, they were wrong about you. They were wrong about you when you first had that failure. Next thing I want to share, number 2. Think about that when you're too tired to keep going. Think about that failure. Think about that time everybody was laughing at you. Think about looking at that list of the basketball team who made the cut from the first day of tryouts and not seeing your name on it. Think about how you told all your friends you were going to make the team this year and you didn't make the team. Think about the players who you believe you're better than who made the team even though you didn't make the team. Think about that on the days when you don't feel like getting up and your alarm clock's going off. Think about that when you have made 100 shots but you not feeling like making 50 more. Think about that on the days where you're going to go eat some food that you know is not going to help your body be in the best shape for that workout tomorrow morning. Think about that when you don't want to do that schoolwork that'll make sure your grades are in the right place so that you can play on the basketball team when you make the team. These are the things that you use to motivate yourself, these little things, because that motivation, understand this, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to be this one big, huge thing. It doesn't have to be this one why, quote unquote, that everybody asks, what's your why? It doesn't have to be this one thing that always motivates you every single day. It could be the littlest thing that nobody else notices. It could be the smallest thing that somebody else would just ignore and say that's nothing, but you use it as motivation. So don't be picky and choosy about what you use as motivation. Use anything you can as your motivation. Think about these little things. Think about that little thing somebody said. Think about that thing the coach did. Think about how this person didn't take your call. Think about how this person didn't help you out. Use those little things as motivation whenever you don't feel like putting in the work. Whenever you don't feel like being disciplined, think about these things because these are the things that are going to get you going so that you can get to that success that you want to get to. And here's the last one. All of you have people in your lives, some way, shape, or form, maybe directly, maybe indirectly. Directly meaning people you literally know them and they know you, or indirectly, people who don't really know you, but you had some association with them for some reason. Who, if you come up short, if you fail, if you quit, if you don't get to that end goal, somehow, some way, they win. They get a victory. I know all of you have people like that in your lives. It could be somebody you love. It could be someone you're really close to. It could be one of your best friends who said, I don't think you're going to make the basketball team. I'm just trying to help you out, man. I'm just trying to be honest with you so that you're realistic about your chances. You can use that. How would you want your friend to be right about that? It could be your parents. My mother wasn't supportive of me becoming a professional basketball player. She became that person that if I quit, if I didn't succeed, if I didn't get there after she said what she said, she would win and I would lose. And I made it black and white like that. And when you sometimes you need to make things black and white. If I don't do this, these people win. Do you want those people to win? Do you want those guys who laughed at you to win? Do you want that girl who said, I don't think you're going to make the team to win? Do you want that person who said this business is not going to work out to win? Do you want those people to win? Because when they win, you lose. Who are the people who end up proving themselves right if you quit? Who are the people who end up proving themselves correct if you don't make that goal? If you keep failing at that goal, who's the person who can say, you know, I told you so. I told you that wasn't going to work. I told you you shouldn't have played on the basketball team. I told you you didn't need to waste your time playing sports all the time. How many of you have parents out there who say, hey, you don't need to play basketball. You need to be more serious about your academics. No, you're not allowed to try for the basketball team. And if you quit basketball, if you give up, if you don't make it as a basketball player, they can look back and say, see, I told you you didn't need to play basketball. I told you you didn't need that to be successful. You want those people to be right? You want those people to win? Michael Jordan, after his career was over, at the beginning of Michael Jordan's basketball career, a lot of people used to think, wow, Michael Jordan's always doing all these great things. People thought it was because Michael Jordan was just super athletic, super good, great shooter. He had his moves, he could jump. They thought it was all these physical attributes he had that made him so great. And listen, Michael Jordan had some great physical attributes. If you look at the stats that he had in his seasons, the last 3 seasons before he won his first championship, look up Michael Jordan's stats, and it's nothing nobody's doing in the NBA nowadays. It's anything close to what he was doing then. Michael Jordan definitely had the physical attributes and the game to back it up. But as his career went on, people learned that it wasn't just the physical skills that made him so great. It was Michael Jordan's mentality, and the mentality was this. As people asked him, Dre, Michael Jordan, what is it that makes you want to win so much? Why are you so driven to win when all these other players who are just as talented, if not more talented than you, why aren't they as driven as you are to win? What is it, Mike? What is that thing that gets you moving? And Michael once said, he said a lot of things, but once he said, I just don't want the other team to win. I don't want Charles Barkley to win. I don't want Karl Malone and Clyde Drexler to win. I don't want Magic Johnson to win, even though Magic was kind of at the end of his career when Mike was starting to win championships. I don't want the other team to win. I just don't want to see them win the game. He didn't say, I want to win. He didn't say, I want to be victorious. He didn't say, I want the trophy. He said, I want everybody else to lose. That was his motivation. And you can look at it that way too. And again, what I'm saying to you right here isn't the only one way to do it. You can look at this a million different ways. And when I told you about motivation, you can use anything as a motivation. Any little thing could be your motivation. It might be this thing today, it might be that thing tomorrow. The thing you use as motivation today, you might never use it for motivation again in your life. You might forget that you even did it. But if it gets you through that day, it gets you through that day. So let me recap this. 3 things you're going to take with you to start using your pain as motivation. Number 1, think about the get back. Think about the revenge. Think about the comeback. Think about the redemption when you do get to prove yourself in the face of everybody who's indifferent, the people who are hating, or the people who are negative, or the people who are ridiculing you now. Think about when you get back at them. Number 2, use those little things, the smallest things. Don't even know what it is. It's different for each one of us. Use those little things as motivation when you need them, when you need to get up, when you need to take those extra shots, when you need to do that extra work, when you need to make those extra cold calls. Think about that and use it as motivation as you need it. Again, don't be picky and choosy with your motivation. Use everything you can gather as motivation. And number 3, talking about making sure you use all pain as motivation because of the energy that's in it. Think about who wins if you lose. If you come up short, you quit. If you don't keep showing up, if you decide to close up shop and not keep working on your game and not keep making attempts and not keep striving and not keep setting new goals and not keep telling yourself who you want to be and where you want to go, who wins? Who ends up proving themselves right if you quit? If you end up proving yourself wrong by quitting? If you end up walking away because you just can't deal with the setbacks anymore? Who ends up being right if you end up being wrong? And do you want them to be right? Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.